Coming up on Blunation, top plays at the top of the hour.
We analyze the two teams set to take the ice in our winter sports preview.
After the ice, we swap the skates for the kicks for a basketball look ahead.
Lastly, our weekend relay takes you beyond the looking glass at this weekend's biggest matchup. DA, hit it.
900 athletes, 174 conference titles, 56 competitive teams, 26 national championships, all in one place.
Blunation brings you all of your Blugolds sports action from Carson Park
Take it into the end zone
to the Sonnentag,
Splash Mountain.
across the street at Hobbs,
Perfect chance here. Shot and score.
and back up the hill to Bollinger,
2 scores.
McPhee,
Maya Cinnamon.
and Simpson.
Bicycle kick.
Live from inside our very own TV10 studios, your starting lineup of John McClain, Gary Barta, and the rest of your sports team. This is Blunation.
Welcome to Blunation, your home for all things Blugolds sports. I'm your host, ever so joyous to watch Mark Guiu score in the Champions League, and for Chelsea to not receive a red card, John McClain.
And I'm Gary Barta. Still salty Robert Irwin didn't receive the first 10 this Dance with the Stars season, bringing you stats, scores, and more from the Blugolds and beyond.
You already know what we start with. Top plays with the whole squad.
The boys will sit down to discuss the upcoming winter sports season with our winter sports preview.
Finally, the four of us sit down again at the desk to discuss the end-of-week matchups. Andrew is back again this week to give us some insight from the pitch.
At the UW Eau Claire women's soccer team played a hard-fought matchup against the Whitewater Warhawks on Saturday. The two YX schools knew each other very well coming into this matchup. Both teams played great defense and showed a lot of spurts of great offense. Late though in the second half, UWEC would find the goal. Down 2-0 in the 84th minute, the Blugolds needed to find a goal to hopefully find some momentum. This is where Jada Swopes came in to be the Eau Claire's hero. With the ever so great Emma Donovan rushing down the field with the ball, the Warhawks keeper comes out of the goal to defend her. So Donovan sneaks the ball over to Swopes, where she gets around her to one defender to find an open goal to kick it into. That would end up being the first and only goal on the day for the Blugolds, falling 2-1 to the Warhawks. Jada Swopes scored her second goal on the season off of Emma Donovan's second assist of the season. After falling to Stevens Point on Wednesday, the Blugolds fall to 1-3-1 in WIAC play. They will have a chance to improve that record on Saturday in River Falls against the Falcons. Now, John, I heard you have some more soccer content for us.
That is one thing for certain, and another installment of the Pioneer Blugold Derby certainly did not disappoint, as the two sides met down south for some crucial points in the table. At the time, Eau Claire and Platteville both needed a win to stay in the front of the pack, as the season is quickly drawing to a close. However, Aiden Judicus couldn't have scored his first for the Golds at a bigger time. In the 73rd minute of the game, scored at 1 apiece, the freshman slams home an emphatic and eventual winner for Eau Claire, opening his account on the season and collegiate career, thanks to a looping diagonal ball from Carmelo Kassim and Elijah Post to put it on a bow, allowing the midfielder to deliver. Thanks to an earlier score from Kowalski, UWEC comes out on top 2-1, making it 5 straight against Platteville, and only the second occasion in those 5 to allow a score. Eau Claire now heads into the weekend with another must-win in their sights, as they host UW Whitewater on Saturday to hope to secure at least a share of the WIAC title for Senior Day at Simpson Field. And once again, these home teams, they are built for November. They are built for these late season and postseason runs. But Gary, switching over from soccer now to the American football to football, what do you got?
Yeah, the Blugolds football team was looking to end the run of back-to-back losses when they took on the number 18th ranked UW Oshkosh Titans at J.J. Keller Field. With the offense reeling in the first half, Walker Korish took scoring matters into his own hands with his 55-yard pick six. Korish jumped the out route run by the Titans slot receiver and took the pass from Quentin Keene all the way to the promised land to tie the matchup up at 7. The Blugolds and Titans would trade 14-point runs with the game tied at 21, and it was the closest the Blugolds have ever been to a ranked opponent in the fourth quarter in the Rob Erickson era. Korish would finish the game as a disruptor against UWO with 3 tackles, a sack, and of course the aforementioned pick 6. The Blugolds, however, would fall to the Titans 28-21. failing to secure their first WIAC win of the season. The Blugolds will attempt to go for said win as they welcome in UW River Falls to Carson Park on Saturday. And Aiden, the Blugolds, they're still looking for that conference win, but from a team that's winless to a team that's undefeated in WIAC play, you've got women's volleyball for us.
The Blugolds hosted the Blue Gold Alumni Weekend Invitational Tournament at the TAG over the weekend, and the Golds did not disappoint one bit. The team went on a perfect 3-0 run on Friday and Saturday to boost their ranking to number 3 in the country, in big part to the 5-set battle between the Blugolds and Illinois Wesleyan University on Friday. The standout player of the match was Abby Stanwood. Stanwood had a career-high 28 kills in the match, proving to be a decisive factor in the Blue Gold victory. UWC, ranked number 7 coming into the matchup, were able to take down the then number 6 ranked Illinois Wesleyan University. This massive win for the Blugolds was enough to boost them up in the rankings to number 3 in the nation at the Division III level. The Blugolds would carry on the momentum from the weekend and continue to roll as they brought nothing but firepower to the Sonotag on Wednesday night. The Blugolds would beat the Pointers of UW Stevens Point in dominating fashion, sweeping the Pointers 3-0. Next up on the schedule, the Blugolds will host the Pioneers of UW Platteville Wednesday, October 29th at the Sonotag Event Center. And John, seasons are starting to wrap up. We're starting to get into that conference tournament section of the schedule, but these teams are rolling along, some better than others, but we'll see how they end up come tournament time.
Conference season is approaching, national tournament season approaching, but you know what else is approaching, Gary? The winter season.
Oh.
When we return, part 1 of 2 is on deck for our winter sports preview. Gary and Aiden drop the puck and give us some insight on what we can expect for the upcoming campaign. It's time for a shift change, but we will be back right here for Blue Nation on TV 10.
Oh, hey there. Welcome back to Blue Nation, right here on TV 10. The weather outside has given us the hint that it is time to break down the upcoming winter sports season. Aiden and I are set to face off on hockey and how we see the seasons for the men's and women's teams, respectively, shaping up. Aiden, lead us off with the men's team.
Yeah, the men's team last year, obviously with this great WIAC tournament victory over River Falls. They finished the season 14-16-1, however, 8-7 in conference, but still got that bid to the national tournament despite having the losing record. So they're losing a lot of key pieces, including their captain Colin Stein, coming off of a 1 goal, 11 assists, 12-point season, and being the team captain, they're losing that. They have now bumped up Trenton Heidi up to that captain role. And they're also losing goal scorers Kyler Grundy, Connor Schmoll, and the leading goal scorer Jordan Randall with 12 last year, and as well as Kyle Luxiuk, known for that infamous goal in Stevens Point. Can't cover it with the hand in the crease, man.
You can't.
You can't do that. And the Reimer brothers that were seen mainly on those second and third lines last season, they eventually ended up transferring out of the program. But with all those losses comes a bunch of additions. They are adding multiple players from the NAHL as well as NCDC and all over the map. Canada, East Coast, West Coast, you name it, they're out there. We got players such as Trey Grentz coming from the Lone Star Brahmas out of the Knoll from Woodbury, Minnesota. A lot of local kids coming in this year. You got kids from Woodbury, Minnesota, like I said, Wyatt Carlson, also from the Knoll, playing up in Alaska in Fairbanks, Hermantown, Minnesota. Mahtomedi, Minnesota's Brent Glunchin out of the Fairbanks Ice Hogs as well. So, and of course, just down the road, Carson Strapan from the Northern Cyclones in the USPHL from Hudson, Wisconsin. So a lot of players from around the area that are coming to play for Eau Claire. That's almost 10 to 11 players coming in as new additions for this roster. And then it was really hard to find those additions. I mean, our Twitter is a little outdated. The last one was our trip to the dance in 2020, but maybe might want to get on that. But as far as predictions for this year, I expect an improvement as far as the record goes last year, as well as the same shot they had all year long to be in that the conversation for the WIAC championship, and possibly even hosting some games throughout the tournament, not just the championship game. But from men's to women's, how's the women's team shaping up, Gary?
Yeah, the women's team, the big storyline for the WEC women's ice hockey team there's a new man in charge, Jared Vroman. The UWEC alum spent 2 seasons as the assistant coach at Augsburg. Augsburg won the MIC regular season title last year. Eric Strand steps down after a few seasons at the helm at the end of that season. For his coaching career, Vroman actually played at UWEC before he entered the professional ranks. He helped the Blugolds win a WIAC title in 2020 and a Commissioner's Cup in 2022. Vroman had 25 points in his career. Now, from the man on the bench to the women on the ice. 2-1 in an exhibition win over Bethel. It's a pretty solid win for the team in an obviously exhibition, so the record isn't going to count at the end of the year. But it's showing that the team who had themselves in a good spot last year. The Blugolds, they're known for their women's program. They can beat everyone, anyone, anytime, except for River Falls. But can anybody beat River Falls?
It
That's
doesn't
the
look
question.
like it.
Doesn't feel like anyone can beat River Falls. Could this be the team to do so? Why do I say that? So many returners coming back for this UW Eau Claire team. They were in the conference championship year after year after year. I believe for the past few years, it has been UW River Falls, UW Eau Claire. You can basically write it in pen from the second the first puck drops in the season opener. It's most likely going to be the Blugolds and the Falcons. Madison Krumholz, Ava Bullard, Maddie Halter. 3 big names for the team. Obviously, you're getting back your 2 goalies from last year. Bachman has been a big face for this team last year. I think she steps up in a bigger role this year as well. The team has so much talent, and I think they just needed one or two more years. Is this maybe the year that they take the top off of UW River Falls, maybe take down that number 1 nationally ranked team? I think they've been ranked number 1 for 2 to 3 years on end. I don't know if anyone's ever topped them at that point. But when you look at UW River Falls and you look at the Blugolds, 11 out of the last 12 regular season champions have been the Falcons. 10 out of the last 12 O'Brien Cup champions, has been UW River Falls as well. The Blugolds have won the other 3 respectively. That has not been the Falcons. I expect it to be so again. I think it's based off the mitt of Bachman. Can the Blugolds get stops against the Falcons? In the matchups last year against River Falls, especially the one at home, the Falcons put up 8 goals in a matchup. Granted, it was snowy. Not a lot of people were in attendance, but the Falcons were they were a pain in the Blugolds side. They were a pain in everybody's side. This might be the year that the UWEC women's team breaks through. Aiden, when we take a look at that men's team, I think the loss of the Reimers is going to be a lot bigger than we think. But someone you didn't mention as much as I think you should, Max Dronin. Dronin, the freshman, was the key piece for this UWEC men's hockey team as a freshman. Multiple hat tricks, had that hat trick in the WIAC opener, against Northland in the 3-versus-6 matchup. Tell me about what Max Dronin can do for this team in his sophomore year.
Yeah, no, Max Dronin winning the Freshman of the Year award for the Blugolds last season. Like you said, can light the lamp, can do everything you need on the ice. Pair that with more players that are coming up within the program. You've got Carter Green, you've got Carter Bradley, that names that were maybe not seen as much, but definitely have the ability to play hockey. It's big for the Blugolds men's program, especially if you can get guys like Dronin going early. He is going to come out as a leader as years go on. I wouldn't be surprised if he's wearing an A or a C come his junior or senior season. And it's going to be a big step up that he's going to have to make with your missing guys like Jordan Randall. 12 goals.
Yeah.
That's not something you see very often. 12 goals and the first goal in the WIAC championship game. But we'll see where things can go from here.
Well, the horn has sounded, and that means the time for us is up. After the break, John and Andrew will cover the 2 teams in a much warmer arena. Don't click out. You're watching Blue Nation on TV 10.
Hi, I'm Chancellor Mike. Please don't click the link.
We're data security. Please don't click the link.
We are back for part 2 of 2 for our winter sports preview, this time across the parking lot and onto the hardwood at the Sonotag. Andrew, tip us off to where the men's side stacks up this year.
Well, last year, the UW Eau Claire Blugolds men's basketball team went about 17-10, 8-6 in the WIAC. They ended their season in the WIAC tournament semifinals against the number 5 ranked UW La Crosse, who made the, the Elite 8, but it's not really called that in D3. They got a total of 13 total commits in the summer coming into the season. But they are obviously losing a lot of players, a lot of those seniors that were really good for them. Notable players even are like Drew Maloney. He was a key starter for his junior year, all WIAC honorable mention that year, but he is a key bench player this last year. Gunnar Tabon, another key bench player. Cade Hall, averaged 8 points, 9 rebounds a game as a senior. Michael Casper, 1,128 career points. Graduated as UW Eau Claire's all-time leading 3-point scorer. He made 255, and he was a very key starter. And obviously, Carter Hushka, he wasn't that good, right? Oh, well, 1,178 career points, 569 rebounds, 1-time All-American, 2-time All-Region, 2-time All-WIAC, 2-time WIAC All-Defensive Team. He was 3rd-team All-American by D3Hoops.com, 1st-team All-Region by D3Hoops.com, 2nd-team All-District by NABC. He was All-WIAC, WIAC All-Defensive Team, Babe Francis Award, Top 100 watch list. What didn't he do last year? He was amazing, and that's obviously a great player to lose. But they gain a lot. They've gained a lot of trainers like Xavier Lewis, gained guys like Luke Radar, like Kenji Scales, like Will Bosser. They've gained a lot of freshmen. But realistically, how are they going to do this year? I think they're going to do great, but I think it's going to be a slow start. And they're going, because Zach Melvick, his 2nd year, he has to really learn this team. It's a very new team this year with how much he's lost. I think it's going to be a slow start, but as the season goes on, it's just going to really get a lot better.
I think he did play the transfer market really well this season, but switching now from the men's to the women's, looking back at 2024 and 25 for Tanya England's side, it was a bit of a rough patch. It was a bit of a rebuilding year and just one of those that was just transitional, and it's just not one you really want to look at with a lot of positivity. They finished 8-17 overall, which is their worst record in 11 years, and the first time that Tanya England has ever finished below 500 in back-to-back seasons in her 25 years at Eau Claire. The last time they've had this many losses was 7-18 in the 2013-14 campaign. So, what does that mean for a team that was second to last offensively and last in the WIAC defensively, as well as the worst turnover margin in the WIAC? Well, they do get a lot of returning pieces back. The graduation bug did not hit Eau Claire as hard as a lot of the teams in their conference, which the WIAC comes into this season with none of the 8 teams ranked as of right now, which is very surprising considering Stout made it all the way to the Final Four last year. And they were a battle-tested team, especially Stout. They've been playing great basketball all of last year, but we just have to see how things pan out. But coming back to the graduation bug, only 3 of their starters graduated. 3, count them 3. They get their 5 top scorers back, and especially Oversky and Mike coming back. Of course, Mike was the all-defensive team. She was 5th in the WIAC in steals, and Oversky leading the scoring with just under 15 points per game. Those are 2 massive weapons you get back. You get pretty much all of your bench back, and with the recruiting class that you're bringing in, you get a lot of size with it. 2 of the girls were their respective leaders in their division in blocks and in their conference. That is a lot of size that Tanya England needs in the paint to grab these boards and to kick out and run these plays with their established playmakers in Oversky, Mike, and the rest of their dynamic backcourt. That was one thing that was really lacking. They weren't the greatest off the glass and grabbing boards, but now they have those pieces. The team got a lot taller, especially after the recruiting class that they had, and now coming into this year with a very favorable non-conference schedule. They opened the season against Lakeland and Ripon. They have never lost to Lakeland. They are 4-0 in that tally and have only lost once to the Redhawks, 7-1 in that category as well. It is a very favorable start to the season, and you look down the rest of the schedule before you get into WIAC play, there's a very good shot that Eau Claire comes in with a winning record heading into WIAC conference play. There's a lot of teams that you look at, and especially with the experience now on this team, you have a lot of seniors coming into this year, you have a lot of underclassmen now taking a lot of that valuable playing time last year, now translating into this year, and now it's time to put the foot on the gas. There is no reason, or there is really little reason where you look at this team and be like, okay, what's stopping them from getting a winning record going into WIAC play? Of course, a lot easier said than done, but they can really make it happen with the pieces that they have, the pieces that they're bringing in, and of course, Tanya England's experience at the helm. Look for them to have an amazing rebound year. But talking about the transfers that Eau Claire brought in for the men's side, they're looking really great, especially with that Renta pick and roll and how much he has to offer on the playmaking side. So a lot of those pure slashers that they brought in, what do you think we can expect from Malvik's offense in his sophomore year?
But yeah, I think the biggest transfer we really got in was Xavier Lewis. He's from UMary. He started every game for UMary last year. 41 career starts for UMary. He was a leading rebounder for UMary last year. And basically, he's just going to really take what that Carter Hushka role was and be that. And obviously, you can't be as good as Carter Hushka was for the Blugolds, but he can really come in and do a lot of what Hushka was. Be that pick and roll with Renta. He's a 6'6" forward. He's great on defense, good on boards. I mean, really, that's a guy you really got to look forward to. You got some other guys there. Luke Redar, District 15-6A MVP, 1701 career points in high school. Kenji Scales, 29 career starts for Sweet Falls. And Will Bowser, another great player coming in. Just a lot of great players coming in for these Blugolds.
Should be a lot of fireworks on the men's side as well as the women's as they look to rebound in their respective year. But the buzzer sounds on our winter forecasting, but our weekend look ahead is what we still have on deck. We'll be back at the desk in 15 seconds, so stay locked in to Blue Nation. It's closing time here on Blue Nation, but before we do, we're excited to tell you about our favorite matchups coming your way for UW Eau Claire, starting with Andrew and women's soccer.
Yes, the UW Eau Claire women's soccer team comes into play 2-10-4 and 1-3-1 in WIAC play. Their wins coming against Augsburg and UW Oshkosh, both 1-0, and they're also coming off a loss against Stevens Point, the Pointers, 3-0. And just looking forward for this team, biggest thing they got to do in their upcoming matchups here is really, you got to get Emma Donovan involved more. Obviously, you get her involved enough, more is more. You just get her involved as much as you possibly can. She just seems like she is always there. She's either scoring the goals, she's assisting the goals. I mean, that's big. Another thing you got to do, you got to be putting up more shots. You got to, yes, you're a team that does love to play in the midfield, but you got to get more out of the midfield. You got to fight. You got to get those shots up, and you got to be aggressive. The biggest thing that I can highlight is take more risks. Just you need to. You're 2-10-4. You're 1-3-1. If you want to be great in the WIAC this year, you gotta take risks, you gotta be aggressive, and you gotta really just start putting up shots on the goal. They are going to be playing River Falls on Saturday. River Falls has a record of 10-4-2 and 1-2-1 in the WIAC. They are coming off a win against Stout, their first win in WIAC play. So as I said, the Blugolds gotta be more aggressive. They right now have the third least goals in the WIAC. Sorry, the least goals in the WIAC and have allowed the third most goals in the WIAC. I mean, you just gotta be aggressive, you gotta be scoring goals. Yeah.
Well, going on now to Aiden's pick from our winter sports preview, men's ice hockey. They start their season with the University of Dubuque. Last time around, it's mirroring last season's start. They played Dubuque for exhibition, a two-piece last year on both a home and away series, and they lost in the shootout out down south, but they won back at Hobbs 3-2 last year. And of course, the Blugolds, they did have a losing season last record, but highlighted by, who could forget, their tournament run. So they come into this year again, 0-0. The slate's clean now, very obviously. Don't know why I needed to reiterate it, but we will anyway. Dubuque finished last season 121-3. They want to turn things around, and they want to turn things around quick, and especially with getting a lot of new rotational guys in for the Blugolds and Dubuque as well. They want to see what looks they can provide. They want to see who's going to be able to step up in the absence of a lot of these guys like Aiden highlighted earlier. Who's going to be those big difference makers down the shift lines and a little more into the bench? They want to see how deep is a squad, right? Can they prove the tenacity, and do they have the fight to come out of the gate swinging? The women's side, they already got their exhibition win. Now can the men do it again here at Hobbs this weekend? It should be another fun matchup.
Yeah, well, for football, the Blugolds, they had a hard-fought battle against number 18, UW Oshkosh, obviously highlighted by the top play, Walker Chorus with that 55-yard pick six we mentioned earlier. The fourth quarter rally fell short, 28-21. The one thing that's kind of plagued the Blugolds all year on the side of for the football, but more specifically on the offensive side of things, are the slow starts just from the quarterback, from the running back. In all of their drives in the first half, the Blugolds either resulted in a 3-and-out, a punt, or a turnover. In their first 3 drives combined, they combined for a negative of 2 yards. They had a negative 2 yards on their first drive. Just not going to work against a team like UW Oshkosh. You're lucky that you hung around for as long as you did to keep yourself alive in that matchup. But in the second half, the teams just flipped. The Blugolds and Aiden Helder just absolutely started cooking with gas. Yachts Schul did everything that he could to keep them in the game. He has been an absolute money maker this year. Yachts Schul has stepped up in the absence of Isaac Garside, obviously due to graduation. Schul has looked the part this year. Beautiful wide receiver. But when you go against River Falls this weekend, you can't start slow. They are a team that is going to blitz you on the offense, and they're going to blitz you on the defense. I was at Gerke for Stevens Point, River Falls last weekend. Man, that is an offense that can torch you and pick you apart. They'll run you a bunch of out routes. They'll run you hitch routes just to set up little plays, and then they'll pound you with the run. Caleb Blaha, he's probably going to be the D3 Heisman. Blugolds are in for a matchup this weekend against the Falcons.
Yeah, and switching from the football field back to the pitch, UWEC men's soccer has a matchup this weekend against UW Whitewater. And Blugolds have been proven to be favorable in this matchup against Whitewater. They're 3-1-1 over the last 5. Last year they beat them 4-0. And coming off of kind of mostly, honestly, against MSOE, an upsetting draw if you're a Blue Gold soccer fan. Probably could have won that game. Ramsey Oro had the goal off of the pen, so really not even scoring from just the 11-on-11 play, really just off of a foul that they ended up getting lucky on. But then switching gears, they beat Platteville down south 2-1 off of Kars Kowalski and Aiden Judicus, as John said earlier, their goals. And I think you can really build off of that win and go and beat Whitewater by a unanimous margin. It's going to be. I don't think it's going to be necessarily as close as some people might think. The Blue Golds, almost, if you are looking to host WIAC tournament games, this is a must-win for the Blue Golds. And as far as we look at the offense of the Blue Golds, they have not struggled at all. But some things that do lack are a little bit of the foul trouble that the Blue Golds have been able to get into in recent matches. I mean, I'm just looking at the box score from that game against UW Platteville, Eau Claire only had 2 cards, which in my opinion is too many. I mean, when you compare it, Platteville I think had about 7 or 8. So it was very physical game. But this weekend, focus on men's soccer, put the ball in the back of the net, do your job, get the W.
Well, certainly get the W and get the 3 points. That is the memo, but that's all we have on the playbook for you tonight. If you want to see how the rest of this team runs or the others in this league, check out mytv10.uwec.edu or on YouTube at UWEC TV10.
Our socials are run by some cool people, so go check them out on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at UWEC TV10.
For myself, Gary, Andrew, and Aiden, the MVP tonight and every night, Mr. David Abel at the helm. Those inside the studio and out of it, we love and thank you for your time here tonight. For Blue Nation, I'm John McClain.
I'm Gary Barta.
I'm Andrew Thorne.
And I'm Aiden Peterson.
Saying good evening, and until next time.